Okay, so I'll briefly. My name is Ruth Yu-Owen. I'm the president of Upgrade Energy Philippines, and on my panel are David Evangelista, the senior AVP for Business Development, Vivant Energy, David, and Eric San Pedro, head of Business Development for Entoria.
Hello.
Okay, so that's Eric, and then Lynn Dimayuga, the RE business leader of ARUP Philippines.
Good morning, everyone.
And Mark, senior business development manager, ENGIE Southeast Asia. So, so I can sit down, right? It's so cold in here. It's freezing. We should talk about energy efficiency and the lack of it. So, utility scale solar. Of course, all of us, or most of us, have been to the other conferences in the last 2 days, and we did talk about utility scale solar. There is a big elephant in the room. Do you see the elephant? It's big. And so today, we will talk about what are the challenges, right? Let's talk about the elephant, and let's get straight to the point. Maybe just one word. What is the name of this elephant? You are all most of you are in business development for renewable energy. Just one word. I just want people to hear what is it that is making things difficult for development of renewable energy utility scale in the Philippines. Lynn.
For me, interconnection.
Interconnection. Eric.
A while ago, I heard somebody speak about land conversion.
Land conversion. David.
Interconnection stake in permitting.
Permitting. You mean the 300 odd signatures that's needed to develop a renewable energy project?
Only 300, I think it's high.
Okay, one word lang, permitting. And of course, Mark.
For me, it's interconnection, actually.
Interconnection, yes. Interconnection. We don't want to be controversial. No, it's impossible. Because if we want to talk about the real issue, because otherwise we'll be sitting here next year and we're still talking about it, right? I think what's important is really to try and solve this challenges of interconnection. So maybe Lynn, can you think of a solution right now that can make things happen for all of us to make connection to the grid possible so we can sell our power, right? Otherwise you can build your solar farm and nowhere to connect.
Yeah, I know that, and to be fair, NGCP has been trying their best to upgrade, the grid interconnection. However, there are imminent challenges, like how do you parallel the upgrade of interconnection to the vast renewable energy that's popping up everywhere? And to be fair, it's not just the Philippines who's undergoing interconnection problems. Australia is one, Vietnam is another one. So all in all, we are all vying for an upgrade and a solution to interconnection. And I think policy can try to push for the expedition of this upgrade so that all the renewable energy policies and initiatives will not go in vain.
Okay, upgrade of the infrastructure. Eric?
For me, it's just the speed of converting land, especially if they're unused for maybe 20, 25 years and hasn't produced anything. No? The problem lies basically when you apply for a permit, it takes forever.
What's forever? How many months?
It's not months. You're talking about years.
Years? How many years?
On an average, for land to be converted, I think right now it's about 2.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
On an average. Hopefully this becomes shortened if government allows some exemptions. I think that's what we're trying to go after, some exceptions. If we have proven that the property, even if it's privately owned, has not been used for a certain amount of time, and the benefit of energy coming from that particular project would be very significant, I think they should be considered.
Yes. So I just want to share, in my other panel, I've asked developers, about 3 or 4 of them have different answers on land conversion, like how long does it take to convert land? One says 10 months, the other one says 2 years, 18 months, and one actually said 6 months. So I told him, can you please convert my land? Because it's taking me ages. So yeah, David, permitting.
You mentioned, go back to your earlier question on interconnection and segue permitting. For me, to address the interconnection issues, to align interests. When I mean that is, you're a business person, Ruth. When you are delayed with your targets, you get penalized. You don't get your returns. If you meet your target, you get a bonus. You
Reward.
get rewards. I don't see that here yet. We have a grid operator who has a mandate. And that mandate is not an excuse to, well, I'm short of people. You actually get your RAB, your return on your investments. And as a customer, I believe that we have a right to ask, what happens if you're delayed? The common answer is it's a fortuitous event. And therefore,
Fortuitous event like a typhoon
yeah, so,
or earthquake.
and by definition, they're excused. While I'm excused with my commitment to my off-taker, I'm not excused to my shareholders, and my shareholders aren't happy. So if we align our interests with rewards and, by definition, penalties, we believe we can swing things, start things faster or execute things faster. On your question on permitting, can you give me that person who can convert land in 6 months?
No, he's mine. I'm not giving his name. If people weren't listening on that conference, he's my friend. So,
Conversion is also key to NGCP's challenges. Rights of way is a serious, understated, and not misunderstood risk of project development. I heard earlier that a landowner can just stop an interconnection project. That's true. So if you can align the permitting process to, hey, there are more efficient ways to acquire land for projects like energy, it should cut the permitting timelines, because even if I can get my ECC for a year, if my interconnection is out, I still don't have my project. And interconnection is a project aspect that is 1 or 0. You can't say your project is 99.9% done and you're done. Interconnection is either you have it or you don't. So interconnection, again, I mentioned, it's taken kanina. So permitting and interconnection, those are the 2 big challenges for large-scale solar. If we get to have the way forward for those 2 projects, 2 aspects, we can have more projects and get our green targets on track.
Yeah, sorry. I just need to add something onto that, because we've mentioned something about right-of-way. I think one of the things that we can do to help that is to have like a rule or a law that says if you are like a private owner of land, then you can sort of just have a cap of how much you would ask for a right-of-way. Because sometimes if this private owner or private landowner learns about a transmission line coming through, they go up the price so high that it's not practicable. So somehow we may help, or the government may help to sort of intervene probably in that end.
yeah, I agree. Intervention, right? Mark, before Mark starts.
Right, okay. So I believe we're all familiar with the backlogs, right, from NGCP. So I think the issue with all those things is they are still considering even those applications that are either put on hold or either they're delaying those projects because either they don't have financing or they don't have the capability to build the plan. So I think if we can try to delineate all those applications that are considered to be ongoing, and NGCP can relate to us that, if you can do it faster, then you can, you can build the plant. So
Okay, so all I can hear is interconnection, infrastructure, permitting, etc. How about this? Someone suggested that instead of getting a service contract from the Department of Energy first, why don't you get me an interconnection agreement first? And they're saying that if I get an interconnection ahead, I'm happy to invest because that's already an assurance that whatever I build will be connected. What if there's a change of mindset that way? Could work, right? Who thinks that will work? Can someone raise your hand? Okay, only one person is listening to this talk. Okay, Cora.
Yeah, but there must be an insurance that if the applicant will not go on, that he will have to pay something, right?
Yes, yeah. Repercussions. Yes, it's okay. There's no need to get too emotional about it. Right, so, let's talk about opportunities, right? We talk about challenges, and everyone knows for you to develop a renewable energy project in the Philippines, you need more than 300 signatures. 300. You only need one person not signing it, and you're dead. Right? So all developers agree, and so the green energy auction program, if you build this, who's buying your power? Green energy auction. So you join the bid. Okay, so what happens if you join the bid, you commit, and then you couldn't convert your land, you couldn't connect, you couldn't do this, right? Someone suggested a brilliant idea, which I totally agree, is express lane. Like when you are a senior citizen, for example, your express lane, you can cut on, all these queues, right? So that means they're saying if you join the green energy auction program and you win, you get the express lane. That means, okay, excuse me, everyone here is passing through because our goal is 35% of renewable energy by 2030 and 50% of renewable energy by 2040. Eyes on the target, correct? Do you want to comment on that, please?
Would you like to go? No, yeah, sorry. Yes, I think that's one brilliant way of pushing it forward, like making that target met. Because otherwise, we're all wanting to make it, but we're held back by some challenge that, that hampers our growth to our target. So yeah, it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, please.
I
Eric.
agree with you. That's a brilliant idea. And I also agree with her that's a brilliant idea. Those who will win should have the financial capability to finish a project. I could bid, but on paper, I'm good. But financially, I can't back it up. It's useless. Right? Then
And but you get the performance bond, which is minimal if you think about the,
But if you go minimal, then again, what's their capability to finishing it? All right? So what I'm after is really, okay, you win it, not just a bond, it's just, performance, everything that will finish the project, right? We just don't give out all this auction thing. And I've seen it happen. A lot of those that have won it before, they can't even finish one project, primarily because...
Do you have any name for these people? Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, thank you. David, please.
An express lane is a novel idea, but it's also prone to abuse. I can just say, hey, I win this project, and as mentioned, I may not have the desire to do it. I may just throw the monkey wrench on the process, delay everything because I have other portfolio running. I'm racking up the West M prices. Everybody pays a higher price. I get to benefit more from the West M. So, express lanes, they're novel, but for me, it's not just the JUP guys, the JUP winners, who should be given an express lane status. It's all of us who's conscious and working on energy projects. You cannot meet your economic targets without power. I mean, just last week we encountered brownouts. Everyone was so pissed. And that was just, what, an hour? Imagine not having enough power. So why don't we just get all energy projects the status that they deserve? Fast lanes.
Yes. The most expensive power is no power, right? Until something happens, people actually do not think about it. You know, I come from Zamboanga City. I grew up where we have brownouts like 2-3 times a day for a long time. Not 1 hour, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. But it's a way of life for us. We got used to no power from time to time. In Greater Manila, of course, you get power outage for 1 hour. Everybody's so angry. I can't charge my phone. My Zoom call was interrupted. I'm so angry. But it's the same, right? Like when the Ukraine and Russia war happened, the price of fuel went up, and renewable energy was an option.
It's true.
All of a sudden, there was a big demand.
It became
right?
a hedge. But going back to your question, to your point, Ruth, having an express lane window for JUP winners gives an excuse for not too serious developers to just bid low, win, and just ruin the entire process. So by having an express lane, you disincentivize the real developers who actually became truthful with their returns.
Well, I think the solution, Mark, I'm not sure. Do you? Yeah.
So their entities can win like 10 spots, right, for JUP. So it can be abused. So we know that even building one plant can be tedious. So if they win 10, they have the express lane. What more for the rest of the developers, right? So
Then, just thinking about that, then why don't we do the JUP with the due diligence of the capability of those bidders?
Yeah, totally agree. I was gonna say, make the requirements
Exactly.
differ, the repercussions higher, and so therefore you attract really serious players, right? And that's, I think, the best way to do it. If you're a non-starter, you don't qualify for express lane, right? But then, of course, it only attract the big boys who's got all the thing. Are you a big boy, David?
Dreaming.
I'm a small
targeted.
girl in this big industry, but yeah, I mean, okay, so let's talk about the support of government. We cannot just complain about the challenges, this not being done and all that. What progress have you seen so far that has changed the way you do things since we had Secretary Popol Otilla as the Secretary of Energy? Lynn?
Well, for one thing, the invitation of, like, say, foreign investors that has attracted a lot of attention, right? So in the past, we had been dominated by intents to develop. However, we were limited because there were very little local developers to partner with. So there was that. But now there's a boom of foreign investors. But I'm not saying that that goes without challenges, right? So I'm just saying that's one way of pushing forward
Yeah,
the
so
growth of
removing
renewable
the
energy.
restriction
Yeah.
of the foreign ownership. So Eric?
Right now, I think Secretary Lotilla has tenure. It's very short for him to really speed up the process. But I think he's doing the right things. I
What
think,
has he done so far that has changed the way you do things?
well, I think he's trying to shorten permitting. He's trying to organize all government agencies that requires to participate in certification and accreditation move a bit faster. I think that's one thing he really is pushing, and I think that's in the right direction. That will help everyone that tries to provide, this large-scale project to move forward.
Okay, David.
Mine is gear prices that are more market as opposed to non-market prices. And there's transparency how those numbers were actually calculated. We didn't see that before. It's just a number. Now we can actually see
The gear price comes from the ERC. So that means someone in the ERC is also doing a great job. Right, support.
Yes.
So Chair Mona at the helm, I think, is made a difference for me anyway, and for all of us as developers.
Agree. So it's the gear price.
Yeah, Mark.
Right. So I actually laud the DOE for getting pushing forward improvements with the application, right? So, for instance, they are being lenient in terms of the possessory rights. So before, you can't really apply for projects if you don't have possessory rights for the project. But now it's a bit easier. So that's one, and we have the available substations, right? They showed it with the GAP, so that's good as well.
Yeah, amazing. So I think I will open the floor for questions. Please make your questions brief, identify yourself, questions relevant to what we're discussing at this point. Anyone? Cora, always. Cora, I'll be disappointed if you don't ask questions. Can we please, here, Cora here.
As you know, I am a strong proponent of solar, wind, water, all types of water, from the sea to rivers, and geothermal. These are resources that we have ample supply of. But there are still issues associated with them, especially solar. One of them is the vast lands, tracts of lands that are needed. There are at least about 4 to 5 issues, right? My suggestion is for this group of solarists, okay, led by our Environment Committee Chair in MAP, Ruth, to really request the government to allocate R&D resources to this, not nuclear power. That to me is an exercise in futility. That's my thesis.
What do you want us to do?
Yeah, to get more R&D. We have to do this so that we will address all the issues that are being brought up against these energy technologies that we have ample natural resources
Agree.
for, right?
Thank you.
We are not doing that yet, no? Because there is now much campaign, strong campaign to have a lot of this for small nuclear reactors. Even small nuclear reactors, that will be good for distributed energy system, but we will also have distributed radioactive waste.
Okay. Thank you, Cora. So thank you. Do you want to react to that? R&D, no? No comment. Okay, thank you, Cora. That's well noted. Anyone else? Okay, yes, that gentleman over there, please. Please identify yourself, make it brief.
Good morning, everyone. I am James. I'm from Bicol. I'm part of a rural bank, and we are exploring developing credit facilities to make RE systems more affordable to the public. My question is, this was shared to me by Sir Quintin Pastrama from WeEnergy yesterday. He mentioned about certificate of merit use. He shared that this was what they used as a workaround for land conversion when they established microgrid in Palawan. So they still used it. They bought they procured the land as an agri-land, but instead of converting it into commercial, they still use it as for agriculture. So of course, solar farms take away a lot of land from farmers. So it's also a threat to food security. So how their workaround is they partnered with the local government and they partnered with the community to look for crops that can be planted beneath the solar panels. So my question is, can this be applied to solar farms on a larger scale? That's all.
Yes, that's a possibility. It's been done now in Europe, and they're actually progressing that part of development where agro and solar are combined together. We can do that here. However, what I mentioned a while ago, land conversion for utility scales, are those non-tillable already. That's what I was mentioning.
So we're not competing with crops.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
I'd like to add something to that. So aside from agrovoltaics, it's what they call it. We can also explore, or we're already exploring floating solar, right? So it also helps grow the renewable energy footprint and, explores other opportunities for installation, not just on land. So, yeah.
How about cattle? Does that count? Like if you put goat, cows for... No? Is that something? Does anyone have an expertise here? Yeah.
Goats and sheep. I think cattle is too big for, but I'm not sure whether it can
We
be,
don't have sheep in the
explored.
Philippines. Goat.
Goat, yes.
Mainit yung sheep because it's
To some,
Goats
to some
climb
areas,
on,
it's been.
goats climb on.
climb. Yeah, they
Yeah.
jump on the solar panels. Anyway, just my thought. Anyone else?
Just to add as well, so one of the challenges that we're not considering agro because of the cost of steel, right? So if you extend the mounting structure, it will, cost us a lot of money. So that's also one.
One solution there is find someone that will buy a bit more of your power,
Yeah.
considering the investment and the impact you have on the property.
Impact investment.
Yeah.
Yes, impact investment.
If there's an investor looking at the bigger impact.
Yeah, I know a utility scale developer that tried to plant crops under the thing, but that didn't work out for some reason. Maybe there's not enough sun under the...
It's actually a working thing in Europe. It probably just needs more study for our crops to be able to be well ventilated, for it to grow enough with solar protection or the solar panel shade. So yeah.
Okay. Any more question? There's a big elephant in the room. Ask that question. Okay. How many minutes more do we have? 5? 15? Oh, we have 15 minutes. Okay, who are we going to bash? Who do you think we should talk about on stage? And no. Are you optimistic about the renewable energy space, despite the challenges, despite all these things that we're talking about? Are you optimistic that this space is going to grow and that we will achieve our targets of growing renewable energy as part of the energy transition in the Philippines? I'll start with Mark.
All right. So if you don't become optimistic, then what will happen to us, right? So we have to put things in perspective, and look at it as a positive thing, that all the improvements with the government, their support, the support of the administration is already pushing forward, the advancement of RE. So maybe that's one reason to be optimistic, I guess. Although, we're all aware it still takes years, before we develop a project. So.
Yes, there is hope, right?
Ruth, the answer is yes for me. The market is changing. 10 years ago, when you were looking at solar panels and solar energy, it was so expensive, it was not competitive. People were using solar energy to heat water. That was the only industrial use for solar, and that's at the residential level. Nowadays, solar is mainstream. What's changed? Well, the market's changing. As customers, we now are more cognizant of the need for being environmentally conscious. We need greener energy. There's that demand already. So by law, supply will follow, and that's where we come in. And yes, we are facing challenges. What's good with challenges is that people take it to improve. So together with the adversity that we're facing, we're also being more creative. We're using the tools that's given us or are evolving to improve how we do things. I'll give an example, Ruth. I think this is close to your heart. Artificial intelligence and improvements in information technology and data sciences. We have an opportunity to use a parcel of land, and we can put just panels. We don't do that anymore. We actually include batteries. We have more batteries, we have more resources, but there's also a need. How do you make it to work more efficiently? There's AI who's helping us do that, make us make better decisions. Why? There's a demand. There's a necessity. And that's why we're here. We're continuously looking for solutions to, and this is our belief and mission, we improve and we invest in industries that bring excellence and improve everyday life. And we honestly believe that. I personally believe that. That's why I joined the organization.
Yeah, no, I want to add, you talk about AI, you talk about ChatGPT. Anyone heard about ChatGPT? Are you using ChatGPT? Are you amazed at ChatGPT? Yes. And that's what David is talking about.
We're excited about it.
Excited. We are excited. That makes us more efficient, right? It's not about being lazy and not doing your research. You are actually doing a research based on your requirement. You tweak it a little bit, and then you're off. You're spending time with your family. You have quality of life for you. That's artificial intelligence. And yes, it's very close to my heart because I have an advocacy called Connected Women. I'm plugging that because as moderator, I think I can. So we train women in artificial intelligence data annotation. They're cleaning data. They are doing repetitive tasks, aiding, the AI so we are the human in the loop, right? Because we need to train the machines. So yes, Eric?
I thought, yes, it's a resounding yes, and we are excited as a developer with the ongoing progress. Again, as he mentioned, there's a necessity. And if you have constant flow of good energy that's renewable, this improves everyone's life, helps the environment. And yet, if thinking of it, Luzon alone has an immediate need for power. You still have to look at the other provinces, Davao, Cebu, Cagayan de Oro. These are untapped opportunities. And this is where we would like to head as well as a developer once our projects in Luzon are all developed. I think there's a big opportunity. We're excited. We're optimistic.
Great. Mark's excited. David's excited. Eric is excited. Lynn, are you excited?
Definitely.
Okay, good. Tell
More
me.
than excited. So essentially, as the technology evolves, people get to learn more about the benefits and learn about how or what's in it for them. to contribute to this renewable energy drive, right? So we, as we learn, we want to be involved. We want to be part of this drive. And that's what makes things more exciting, because as more and more people advocate for this renewable energy, then more and more people want it, and then it becomes a way of life. So that's why things are positive.
Great. The 4 panelists are excited. I'm excited, and I'm going to tell you why. Allow me to read this. The Secretary of Energy, something exciting happened at the Department of Energy when Secretary Rafael Popolotilla sat in office. In less than 2 months from his assumption of office, he acted on the recommendation made in the previous administration to increase the Renewable Portfolio Standards, or RPS, from the minimum 1% to 2.52%. Giving our power system a clear fighting chance to increase the share of renewable energy in the supply mix to 35% by 2030 and more than 50% by 2040. He also knew that in order to significantly increase power supply in our system, we needed to open up renewable energy sector to foreign investments. Within 4 months, 4 months, from assuming office, Secretary Lotilla, armed with a legal opinion from the Department of Justice, unlocked for 100% foreign investment the utilization of solar energy, wind, and hydropower energy for power generation. So many of us are also aware of the threat of rotating brownouts because of fuel supply issues that were faced by our off-grid islands late last year. With Secretary Lotilla's classic brand of effectively navigating the government bureaucracy, the National Power Corporation was able to secure additional budget from Congress, credit lines from local banks, and commitment from the Energy Regulatory Commission to ensure additional funding for missionary electrification. His inclusive and effective leadership stands on a solid reputation of integrity and brilliance of mind. This has been key not just in mobilizing support from other agencies like the DOJ, the ERC, the DBM, and Congress, but in rallying energy stakeholders towards a common vision of an energy secure and sustainable Philippines. Secretary Popolotilla did in 4 months what we ask in the renewable energy sector, or in the energy sector. I'm finishing. Yes. So 4 months he did that, right? What we asked for in 6 years. So imagine what else he can do in the next 5 years. Are we optimistic? Yes, we are. So thank you very much for your time. Good morning.